sound. You know the sound I'm talking about? It's a sound that comes every so often when you're not even listening for it. Well, I don't hear it right now, but it sort of sounds like a clink or a clank or... Yeah, that's it. That sound. Have you ever heard that? The first time I heard it, I didn't know what it was. It was part of the sound that makes up my everyday life. Sometimes it's faint. Sometimes it's barely perceptible. Some people go their whole lives and never hear it. I remember the first time I heard it. I was in my car, and for whatever reason, I didn't have the radio on. It was just me, alone in my thoughts, driving about 45 miles an hour. And all of a sudden, I don't know what this guy was thinking, but he pulls out in front of me and starts going about 10 miles an hour. I slam on my brakes, and I said, "You stupid!" I didn't even get the next word out of my mouth. I was thinking it, though, and I heard that sound. Yeah. The next time I heard it, I was in the grocery store, and typically I only get a couple of things, but this time I had to get a ton of stuff. And so I had a grocery cart, and I had put a big bag of dog food on the bottom of the cart. And imagine my surprise when I go through that checkout lane and the cashier checks me out, and she doesn't see my dog food, and I knew she didn't see it. I should have said something about it, and I didn't. She handed me that grocery receipt, and she said, "Thank you. Have a nice day." And I knew I should have said something, and I didn't, and I just left. And I was out pushing the grocery cart through the threshold of the grocery store door. Curious. One time, Kim and I were eating at a restaurant, and this really attractive waiter was serving us. And I lingered longer with my eyes on this man than I should have. Sometimes at work, I look through Facebook and Pinterest instead of doing my job. Sometimes when my girls want to speak to me, and I just kind of brush them off because I don't want to listen at that point. Every time I raise my voice in anger, you know what I realized? I was hearing this noise every day. Sometimes multiple times a day. That sound, that same sound, that ever-present sound. Without fail, I would hear that noise. A couple years back, I went to an Easter service, and they were recreating Good Friday in a passion play. And the actor who was playing Jesus was bloody and torn, and the Roman soldier who laid him upon a cross took this huge spike that Brother Greg was just talking about, and took this heavy iron hammer and drew it right here at Jesus' wrist and put the nail right there. He drew the hammer again for the other side and put the nail. That sound, it was the same sound I had been hearing. Every sin I committed, every time I had an impure thought, every time I turned my back on God, you know what I realized? It's not the Roman soldier who put Jesus on that cross. It wasn't the Jews who put Jesus on that cross. It wasn't Pilate. It wasn't even Satan. You guys, it was my sin who put Jesus on that cross. Right. I did that. I could have driven the spikes myself. He did that for me. For me. He died. He died for me. Do you ever hear that sound? You guys, it's faint. Do you not even thinking about it.